let me know when. Hello, everybody. It's Fabienne Fredrickson from clientattraction.com and the Client Attraction Business School, and I am so happy that you are here. I see from my team that we already have many of you here from all different parts of the world, and I just want to give you guys a shout out. I know that some of you are here from Germany. Congratulations. And we have people from the UK. Yay! Ohio, Georgia, Washington, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Dallas, Colorado, California. Derek, what else? Do we know where else there?
Austria, the Bahamas.
Austria, the Bahamas. Yeah.
People are up in the middle of the night.
Oh, you guys, thank you so much. Those of you who are up in the middle of the night to be with us. What that says to me and about everybody here, and especially those of you who are who woke up, who stayed up to watch this, it shows me that you are the kind of person who is destined to be successful. And here's why. You are willing to do whatever it takes, right? You are committed to your success, and even if something is not convenient, you're going to do it anyway. So congratulations. Derek, who else is joining in? Do we know?
Yeah, we just got a bunch of people from Austria, Vancouver.
Alaska, yes, Vancouver, France. Bonjour la France. Africa, I'm going to be there in July. What else?
They're just rolling in.
They're rolling in, yeah. So I'm just going to give you guys a minute or two to settle in and to, get situated, make sure that we're here for 2 hours. So make sure that, if you need to go take a break or get yourself a glass of water, you want to do that now because I have a lot of content to share with you. And of course, we are here today because perhaps you've been curious about what it's like to work with me, to work within the Client Attraction Business School. Perhaps you know that you want to work with us. Or maybe you just want to see and perhaps get inspired about what's possible for you when you start doing things differently in your business. So you are in the right place. I'm so excited that you're here. I have a ton of content for you. I'm going to be explaining to you what makes a successful entrepreneur. There are people who have been in business for many years and who have never really been successful in their own mind and financially speaking and things like that. And then there are other people who, get successful very quickly. I'm going to explain the difference between the two and what you must do differently, what you're missing. And we're also going to be talking about the acorn, right? So this represents, I'm going to tell you all about this, but it represents you. This is you. And so in just a few minutes, I'll be talking to you about this. So, and then of course, at the end of today, I'm going to talk to you about the Client Attraction Business School because I believe that it is what all entrepreneurs need. We need structure, we need best practices, we need to be taught what we don't know, and we need community and accountability and stuff like that. So later on this live cast, I am going to give you an opportunity to join us in the Client Attraction Business School if it feels right. Listen, it's not for everybody. I totally get that. But if it speaks to you, if it provides you what you need, and you are ready to invest in yourself, because it's not going to be an investment in me, it's going to be an investment in you, then I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that and give you an incentive, shall we say, to take action within the next few days. So, Derek, we've got some more people coming on.
Yeah, we've got some more people rolling in. We've got New York, San Antonio.
Of course, my New York peeps. Hi, San Antonio.
Wisconsin. Vancouver.
Hi,
also,
Vancouver.
Explain to them that they have the chat.
Oh, okay. So can you explain how I explain to them about the chat? There's a chat feature on your page. What else do I say?
It's there if they have a question about what you're talking about in regards to the business.
Right. So I'm going to be taking some questions later on in this live cast, and the chat feature underneath is for you to ask us some questions. Whatever it is that you're not clear about, just put it in there, and I'll answer as many as I possibly can. So I think that we should get started. Okay. So why are you here? You might be asking, why am I here? Why were you called to be here for the next 2 hours with me? And I believe that the reason why you're here, because you could be doing anything, right? You could be elsewhere, or you could be not here with us. It's no coincidence. You are here with us today because you have a bigger future vision of yourself and what you are here to do in the world. And I believe it's because your soul, right? Your soul is calling for expansion and for growth. Within you, you know that you are ready for progress. Perhaps you've been at a certain state in your business and in your life, and it's almost like you can't take it anymore. You know that you have to grow. And here's what I believe. In life, the training never stops. Write that down. In life, the training never stops. In fact, I was just having lunch with our director of financial operations here at Client Attraction, and she said, "What did you do this weekend?" I said, "I went to a personal growth and development workshop, and I worked on myself. I'm continually training to get better and better and better, whether it's in business or in personal." So the training never stops. And if you want a really, really good life, you must invest in yourself. Write this down. If you want a really great life, you must invest in yourself, right? So what are the 4 different ways that you can invest in yourself? You can invest of your time. You can invest with your effort. You invest with your energy, right? And your financial resources. Those are all of the different ways that we invest in ourselves: time, energy, effort, and financial resources. And what I have believed about myself, and I believe about you too, is that you are your greatest investment. When you invest in you, the returns happen for the rest of your life, right? And I believe that deep inside of you, deep inside of me, of everyone, there is something great, right? You are built for something great. And you were born with a purpose. And I believe that that purpose is to move the planet forward, make the world a better place through your business, right? So with me, right, do you believe that you are here to move the planet forward? I believe that you are. I believe that I am. And I also believe that in every single person, there is planted the seed the seed and the capability to be prosperous and to be very abundant. Okay? And it's not just in some people. It is for everyone. So within me is the capability and the seed to be abundant and to be prosperous, and it's in you as well. And this is what I mean by the seed. In this, just as in this acorn, right? Some people might just see this as an acorn, like just a corn, right? But in this is a great oak tree, right? A great oak tree is wired in the DNA of this acorn. Think about it, right? It doesn't have to try hard to become an oak tree. It's already pre-programmed. The capability, the probability. It cannot become an orange tree. It cannot become a rose, right? And in the same way as this is pre-programmed to become great, that seed is in you as well. You are pre-programmed by your creator, by whatever you believe your higher source to be highly profitable, highly prosperous, highly abundant. And like I said, this is not just the case for some people, it's true of all people, right? There is no discrimination. And I know that that rattles some people's belief systems, but you were not created to be struggling. You were created to be magnificent and to be abundant. And I want you to know this. There is a message, there is a purpose, there is a calling within you. And know that that message, that calling, that abundance, that prosperity will lie dormant in you until you activate it. Right? I really want you to get that. just like the acorn, right? If I leave this acorn on the table here, will it turn into a great oak tree? Now, the answer is no. But if I put it in the right environment and in rich soil, and I give it sun, and I give it water, and I give it everything that it needs, and I activate it, putting it into the ground, will it turn into an oak tree with all the right conditions? Absolutely. Absolutely. And in the same way that this will not activate, this will not grow into an oak tree unless I activate it, the same thing is true with you. With the right environment, with the right resources, and the right conditions, you speed up your process and become that abundant, prosperous business owner that you want to be. And so your potential for greatness, your potential for great abundance will stay dormant within you until you activate it. Now here's what happens though. Does this make sense, yeah? Yeah, are they getting this, Derek? Can you see the chat?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, good. So here's what happens. Left to our own devices, very few entrepreneurs ever reach their potential. Please write this down, okay? I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly, but I want you to really get, we cannot change something that we don't acknowledge. So left to our own devices, very few entrepreneurs ever make it really big, ever reach their potential. Because without the right support, so write the words down, support, accountability, without the right support and accountability, you're not going to play a bigger game, right? There are just too many obstacles in your way. And this is something that very few entrepreneurs get really clear about, get really real with themselves about. Here's a quote that I love from Helen Keller. Helen Keller said that alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. Right? This is not about being a lone ranger. See, the way that you accomplish more in your life is in your business and really reach your potential and reach your dreams is by having best practices, right? Best practices, having best practices is the fuel that allows common people like you and me, right? I'm not saying, yes, we are extraordinary, we are magnificent, but we're also common, right? Best practices is the fuel that allows people like you and me to create uncommon results. Best practices. And we're talking here about creating results that astounds everybody around you, right? So how did she do that? How did he do that so quickly? It's the power of like-minded people, right? The power of a group of like-minded, advancing individuals that creates big breakthroughs. I don't know about you, but when I'm in my office all by myself for years trying to figure it out, it takes a lot longer than when I get into a group of like-minded, advancing entrepreneurs who have best practices. And when I'm in that type of group, which is why I continually invest in myself and I continually put myself in those groups, that's when I create the big breakthroughs. And I know the same is true with you as well. So I call it the power of association. Write that down, please. The power of association. You see, who you associate with shapes who you are. Write that down. Who I associate with shapes who I am. Who you listen to and who you take advice from creates your income. Who you listen to and who you take advice from creates your income, right? If you listen to people who are not successful, who don't know what they're doing, and we often take advice from people who are not entrepreneurs, who have not made it. We take advice from family members who have no idea what it's like. We take advice from people who are peers of us who aren't advancing entrepreneurs, right? But who you listen to and who you take advice from creates your income. Who you spend time with is who you become. Did you know that? Who you spend time with is who you become. I don't want to talk negatively about a group of people, but I just want you to think about like gang members, for example, or people, you know, I don't know, people who aren't living their life with integrity. When you get into a group of people like that, to be accepted, you do what they do. You do what they expect of you, right? But if you get in a group of highly successful people who are advancing people, who realize that their future is bigger than their past, it changes everything, right? And it doesn't, I'm not suggesting that you ditch your friends and family, right? We love them. We're not going to ditch them. What I'm suggesting is that we add new people into your life who you can listen to, new people into your life who you can collaborate with, in addition to the people who are already in your life. And so if you want to grow your business from where it is now to where you know it is meant to be, where you dream it to be, you must learn from, listen to, and study and spend time with advancing entrepreneurs. Right? Write the words advancing entrepreneurs on your piece of paper. Now, what are advancing entrepreneurs? I believe that advancing entrepreneurs are people who think positively about their own future, and they believe the same thing about you. They not only think their future is bigger, but they know that yours is bigger too. And advancing entrepreneurs are people who have resources that you don't have. And they have figured out things that you haven't figured out. And they have shortcuts that, just by virtue of their own experience, can help you, right? Advancing entrepreneurs are people who come from abundance, not scarcity, right? There are two types of people in this world. Really, it just comes down to that. I think I forget if I always mix it up, whether it's Einstein or someone said there are two types of people. People who feel safe in life and people who are scared of life and or who think the world is unsafe. And in the same way, there are two types of people, which is related, people who believe in abundance and people who act from scarcity. You want to know the people that are going to be the most successful? These, the people who believe in abundance, who come from abundance, not lack. Advancing entrepreneurs are people who have the same values about growth that you do. Right? I believe in growth. I believe that if you don't keep growing, you die. Right? And if you look at nature, anything that stops growing dies. Right? Advancing entrepreneurs are people who are already where you want to be or happily getting there. What I want you to know is that what you achieve in your life is directly correlated to the expectations of your mentors and your peer group. I'm going to say that again for you. What you achieve in your life is directly correlated to the expectations of your mentors and your peer group. Right? If they expect you to fail, guess what? You'll fail. If they expect you to push just a little bit further, to succeed, guess what? Guaranteed, you succeed. You move, you grow, you create uncommon results that astound the people around you. Now, the question I have for you is, what does your current peer group talk about and complain about? See, a lot of times, especially, as an entrepreneur, I feel like people don't really understand us, right? They say, why would you take the great leap of faith and walk away from a secure job and that secure paycheck every 2 weeks to struggle in your own business? Those types of people, the people who just don't get what it's like to be an entrepreneur, they talk about and they complain about things that you and I don't. Right? They're going to talk about the price of gas and how expensive things are, and they're going to talk about what's not going well in the world. But we see differently, right? So I want to ask you, what does your current peer group let you get away with? What does your current peer group let you get away with that advancing entrepreneurs wouldn't let you get away with? Certain organizations and certain structured peer groups they spark their members to achieve a higher level of accountability, right? When there are different types of peer groups, there's unstructured, kind of loosey-goosey peer groups, and then there are structured peer groups, people who have been filtered to be only advancing entrepreneurs, right? Not non-advancing, just advancing entrepreneurs who spark their members to achieve a higher level of accountability. And what do you think that means in their life? They create better results, astounding results. What I've learned in my own life, and that I've seen play out for many, many years, is that a higher level of mentorship helps you turn years into months and months into days. When you have that higher level of mentorship in your life, it fast tracks everything. And you accomplish so much more with the right mentorship, so much faster than you ever would on your own. Does that make sense? So think about that for a second while I take a sip of water. What are they saying, Derek? Are they getting this?
Yeah, they're getting great stuff. A lot of feedback, and just a lot of them reiterating what you're already saying about playing the bigger game and really looking for that peer group. And some people are saying, I don't have that peer group. They're having that realization that the peer group isn't there for them.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have a peer group, and it's if everybody had this kind of peer group, we would all be billionaires, right? Everybody on earth would be successful. But the advancing entrepreneur is the person who is looking for that peer group. They're no longer willing to listen to the complaints of non-successful people. They know that they must put themselves in the right environment. So you accomplish so much more with the right mentorship. When you have the right mentorship, this has been my belief, my observation in my life. When you have the right mentorship and you get the step-by-step guidance that you need, that you wouldn't normally have access to, it changes everything, right? When you have the right mentorship, you get the expert coaching that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. People who are willing to share their mastery, what they've. Have you read the book The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell? Well, one of the premises of the book is that to become masterful at anything, if you look at rock stars and chefs and artists and business people, and it doesn't matter what it is, those who are masterful have spent more than 10,000 hours doing that one thing. 10,000 hours is 10 years, right? So I believe that expert mentorship is going to people who already have done all the work, who've already done the 10,000 hours or more, and borrowing their expertise, right? When you plug in to working with somebody like that, to being in that, getting that type of mentorship, you get the unconditional support that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. You get the accountability that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. And here's what I know. When you are surrounded by a tribe, a community of advancing entrepreneurs who believe that their future is greater than their past, there is this unspoken sense of a healthy competition, right? And I'm not a competitive person. I'm actually competitive with myself, but not as much with others. But that sense of healthy competition that's playful, that says, where you say to yourself, I better do what I said I was going to do by the next time I talk to them and see them, right? So it sparks higher accountability, higher implementation. Now, how do I know all this? Well, I tried the do-it-yourself method for many, many years. And here's what I realized. When you are doing something on your own, when you're trying to figure something out on your own, or you hook up with people, you collaborate with people who don't know what they're doing because they haven't lived it and haven't experienced it, what you get, there's a lack of best practices, right? Because if you're trying to do it on your own, you don't know what the best practices are because you don't know what you don't know, right? And if you're working with other people who have not done it themselves, they don't have best practices for you. You don't get expert coaching, and expert coaching is incredibly valuable. If you try to do it on your own, you don't get the accountability, right? Because it's really hard to keep oneself accountable, right? There's that silent saboteur. I have it. Most people have it. That silent saboteur that says, you know, I know that I should be doing this, but I'm just, I don't feel like it. Or you go against, your better judgment. That's like that insidious inner gremlin that says, do it tomorrow, right? When you try to do it on your own, you don't have peer support, and it feels very, very lonely. You don't have as much commitment, right? If you're working with a bunch of people who are, who are your accountability partners, and they don't have skin in the game, there's no commitment. They're not committed because they're like, I'm not going to get it done, or it's just I've experienced this myself, getting into groups of people who don't know what they're doing. It's great for the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then people start flaking out, not showing up. And then it becomes a huge waste of time. And in the time that you could have, that you're wasting with working with people who don't know what they're doing or trying to do it on your own, you would have, if you collaborated with advancing entrepreneurs, you would have gotten so much more done so much faster. When you're trying to do it on your own, you don't get a lot of encouragement, right? What are you going to say? Congratulations. It doesn't really work that way, right? Because when left to our own devices, we look at most of our failures as opposed to what actually went well, the 98% that is going well. And without that sense of community, it's really difficult to keep moving every day. Here's what happens. Here's what I know from not only being an entrepreneur myself. I've been an entrepreneur for 13 years, close to 14 years. I've learned that and I've worked with thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs, people who are startups to $1 million businesses. Entrepreneurs are some of the most overwhelmed people on the planet. Would you say that that's true, right? Do you sometimes feel overwhelmed? Well, here's why. You don't know what you don't know about what to do first, and the thing is, it's urgent that you know how to do it, because if you stay in the land of confusion, there's not much action that's going to happen. So entrepreneurs are overwhelmed people. And also, entrepreneurs can also be some of the loneliest people on the planet, right? I felt lonely. One of the things that I missed the most when I opened up my first business in 1999 was that I missed like the plopping myself on a chair in somebody's cubicle and said, so how was your day on Saturday? What'd you guys do? Like, that feeling like we're isolated in our usually home offices. I mean, now I have these offices and I have people here. But for 10 years, I didn't have that. And so entrepreneurs are overwhelmed and they're isolated, and they don't know what they're doing most of the time. So I want to ask you this. When is the high-achieving entrepreneur most productive and confident? What do you think that is? Right? High-achieving, advancing entrepreneurs are the most productive and the most confident when they are being shown exactly what to do and how to do it in a step-by-step fashion. And when you, me, everybody on this live stream, when we have the structure and we have accountability measures in place and we have a rich environment around us that is built to keep us on track, that is when we are the most productive and the most confident, right? So that accountability, the structure, the environment that keeps us on track. When we are regularly associating with other advancing entrepreneurs, that is when we are the most productive and the most confident, right? Not the blind leading the blind. It's when we're hanging out with other people. It's like there's a new juice that runs through our veins. We feel like we're part of something greater than ourselves instead of just, tinkering behind the computer all the time. Now, Derek and I aren't just talking about this. We live this. We live it. I've been living this for many, many years. And by putting ourselves in structured groups of people, I mean, I mastermind with people who make $2 million a week, you know, and you know what? They have something to learn from me as I have something to learn from them too. People who have, you know, $30 million businesses where you have to be making at least $1 million, if not more, to be in that group. We continually put ourselves in these kinds of structures where best practices are given and accountability, and there's that peer group, and we have somebody to check in with all the time. And that's how we've been successfully able to grow the business year after year, always making more than we made the year before. It's by seeking out existing systems, structures for best practices, and surrounding ourselves with other advancing entrepreneurs. It changes the way that you look at your business. It changes everything about how you run your business and how you run yourself, right? Your habits. Now, what is the mark of an advancing entrepreneur, right? The victor versus the victim. What makes the advancing entrepreneur so victorious? Advancing entrepreneurs are people who don't believe in reinventing the wheel, right? They don't try to figure it out on their own. So write this down. Reinventing the wheel takes too much time. Right? Reinventing the wheel takes too much time. And trying to figure it out on my own is a waste of time. Advancing entrepreneurs learn best practices from those who have already mastered it, right? This is about borrowing those 10,000 hours, borrowing it from here, borrowing it from here, borrowing it from here. So if you look at how I've invested in myself over the last, you know, close to 10 years, maybe even more, 12, 13 years, I have borrowed 10,000 hours from countless people. That's how I've been able to get to where I am. And you have my word, I will continue to do so. Always, always, always. Advancing entrepreneurs continually invest in themselves. You must continually invest in yourself if you want to keep growing, right? Advancing entrepreneurs also surround themselves with other advancing entrepreneurs, right? And they're willing to do whatever it takes, right? Not the whatever it takes in, like, you know, what is it? Throat cutting, not being cutthroat. It's about whatever it takes within you, by staying in integrity, doing the right thing, but really saying, am I just going to do what's convenient? I mean, if you do what's convenient, you're just simply interested in a result, right? John Assaraf, my good friend, has a saying that I say practically every time I speak, and I attribute it to him. You know, if you're interested, then you do what's convenient. Write that down, please. If you're interested, you do what's convenient. If you're committed, you do whatever it takes. So I'm not here to see what you're going to write on your piece of paper, but are you interested in being successful in your business, or are you committed to being a success in your business? Write the answer. Am I committed? If the answer is yes, then you're in the right place. If the answer is no, you might want to reevaluate being in business for yourself, right? Never apply yourself to something you're not committed to. What's the point? That's like somebody saying, oh, I'll try to be successful. You don't try. You either play full on, play a bigger game, you play to win, or go work for somebody else. It's okay if that's your choice, right? But I made that commitment back in 1999. Some of you might have heard me talking about my 3 a.m. I don't have enough clients sweats story. And I had the opportunity. I was on the point of eviction, probably for my third time, and eviction from my apartment, and my credit card companies were calling, and blah, blah, blah. And I could have gone back to corporate. I could have gone back to work in advertising sales, as I had done for the 2 previous jobs. But I knew that I'd become unemployable. Are you unemployable, right? I know I am. I'm proud to be unemployable. And I made a commitment in the middle of the night to myself, to my dad, who I had called with my sob story. And I made a commitment. I will do whatever it takes. I will do whatever it takes to turn things around in my business, right? So advancing entrepreneurs are people who do whatever it takes, right? They take chances when others won't. They take chances when others don't. And advancing entrepreneurs, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, they borrow other people's 10,000 hours. They borrow other people's mastery, right? They hire people who will give them the mastery, because this shortens the learning curve dramatically. And they believe in modeling other successful people. They do not have any pride issues around saying, hey, I don't know this yet, but that person knows, I'm going to borrow them, right? And here's what I know. Advancing entrepreneurs are not too cool for school, right? They believe in continuous learning. They believe in seeking out support and systems that work. Don't be too cool for school. What does that make you? I mean, it just makes you arrogant, right? And they don't rest on their laurels. They know that advancement is key for them. I know it is for me. I will never rest on my laurels. It's not a weird competition thing. I know that I am this. I am this. And I choose in my life to be a big oak tree. Right? I choose that. I don't want to stay an acorn the rest of my life. That is not why I was put on this earth. And that is not why you were put on this earth. Staying like this is not becoming the full potential of what your creator made you. Again, whatever it is, I call it God, universe, spirit, source. What do you call it, right? You were not meant to stay like this. You were meant to become this, to germinate, to become this little, what do you call that? Like a offshoot, and then turn into this tree, and then this big oak tree, right? And advancing entrepreneurs believe in continual advancement, and they always ask themselves, what's next, right? What's next for me? And you may have been asking yourself, like, what's my next move? Why am I here? Like, what am I going to do next to grow? And what do I need to do to advance my business further? And that's what we are here to talk about today. We are here to talk about what's next for you. Now, as you know, I work with clients and students from all over the world, and the thing that they all have in common is they understand that there's a next step. They get that their future is waiting for them. And I hope that the conversation that we're having today is get you to feel pulled forward by your future. So your future is waiting for you to step in. You've got great things to do. And just so you know, one more thing I want to say is that advancing entrepreneurs are not necessarily only motivated by money. In fact, many of them aren't. I believe that you and I didn't necessarily open up our business to make gobs and gobs and gobs of money. Like, that wasn't the primary reason. I believe you opened up your business for two reasons. The first is for freedom, and the second is because you care about people and you want to be a catalyst in their lives. And if there were a third, it would be that you know that you have something within you that can change people's lives, that can shift the way things are done, that can help bring relief or achievement to someone. And then the money is a consequence, right? I believe that the money that you make in your business is in a direct correlation of how much value that you're putting out there in the marketplace, how many ripple effects you create, and you change the world one client at a time. Right? So that's what we're here to talk about today is, options for what's next for you. And I want to talk to you because I was very, you're here because you want to find out more about the Client Attraction Business School. Well, I want to introduce you to the Client Attraction Business School. This is a neat this is our new logo. What do you think, right? Good? It used to be just Client Attraction. Now it's Client Attraction Business School. And this is a brand new concept. I don't know of anybody else doing this in the entire world. This is a brand new concept. And here's where it came from. When I looked at the landscape of run-of-the-mill business coaching as it is today, if I'm being truly honest with myself and with you, I believe that traditional run-of-the-mill business coaching is not meeting the needs of the advancing entrepreneur. I'm just going to say it, don't shoot the messenger. What I've seen is that business coaching as it exists today is really loosey-goosey, right? And often it's conducted by people who haven't been successful yet. Okay, if we're just going to be real transparent. Most people doing business coaching today they're teaching what they haven't lived yet. They're teaching what they have maybe heard in a book or seen somebody else teach, but they haven't lived it yet. And I have a concept, I think that I coined it, but if not, I don't know who did, but I think it was me. I'm going to give myself credit. This concept is called, you've heard of walking your talk. Like most people out there in the business coaching arena are walking their talk. They're trying to walk their talk. And I'm vehemently opposed to that. And I always say the only reason that I've created so many results for so many thousands of students and clients around the world is that I don't walk my talk. I talk my walk. You see the difference? I walk it first. And when I have done it and I have become successful at it and I have figured out all the nuances and the insider secrets and what works versus what doesn't, I strip away everything that does not work and you're left with only what works. And then that's when I teach it. I do not teach things that I have not done myself and have done for many, many years, which is that best practices that we are known for at the Client Attraction Business School. So regular run-of-the-mill business coaching is done with people who are trying to walk their talk instead of talking their walk. It's a lot of, and I'm not bashing the coaching industry. I love the coaching industry, but I'm just going to be very, and the business coaching is good for other entrepreneurs, but you and I are advancing entrepreneurs, right? We're different from the others out there. A lot of business coaching is the coach saying, well, what do you think you should do to get clients and multiply your business? What do you think is the answer? That's not what advancing entrepreneurs need, right? If you knew exactly what to do and how to do it, you would have done it already. Advancing entrepreneurs want to be shown exactly how to do something in the order. They want examples. They want examples to model. They want to know what's something's supposed to look like. Don't you? This is what I want. When I'm looking to be pulled to my next level of my future, I don't want somebody to say to me, what do you think you should do? Believe me, I'm smart enough to have asked myself that question already. And you are too. You're smart enough to have said, hey, if I knew, I would be doing it. Now, that's business coaching. So I looked at the landscape of business coaching. And, for years I was a business coach myself. And at the same time, I looked at the traditional business school model. And what I've looked at from what I've seen is that the traditional business schools are not built for entrepreneurs like us, like you and me, solo entrepreneurs. Traditional business school does not teach us exactly what we need to do to get clients and to get results now and to make money. It simply doesn't meet our needs. And if you look at a traditional MBA, a business school, I've even talked to some of my clients who come out of business school. They've got their MBA and they're like, I have no idea how to get clients. I have no idea what to do to make more money. I have no idea what to do when I'm in a place where I have plenty of clients. How do I leverage to go to the next level? You walk out after spending, $100,000, $150,000, and you still don't know how to get clients, right? I believe that business schools, and again, don't shoot the messenger. If you went to business school and you got great stuff out of it, cool, awesome, love that. But I believe that traditional business schools are not built for the solo entrepreneur, somebody who is looking for more clients, looking to make more money, looking to multiply their business. And so I did, we did here at Client Attraction, and Trish helped me with this quite a bit. We did some research about just in the, I live in Connecticut, we're live streaming from Connecticut on the east coast of the United States. And we looked at the universities, both public universities and private universities, and we looked at in-state and out-of-state, tuition. And it can go from anywhere from in-state to being more than $9,000 per year. Now remember, that's 4 years, right, of public universities, all the way to, $39,000 a year. And you walk out and you still don't know how to get clients. There is a problem with that, right? Even an online school like the University of Phoenix, $17,000 per year is what we found. Now the numbers may have shifted or they may have changed, but that's a lot of money to spend when you're not getting a return on investment. And after you're spending all that, just for 1 year out of the program, you're not even getting what works in the real world. And I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm giving you an honest assessment of why you may not be where you want right now. One, you may not have invested in yourself, but if you have, you might be wondering, why am I not there yet? And I believe that is some of it. And here's what I know for sure. There are 3 things that every entrepreneur needs to be successful. So I want you to write these down, okay? Because I have actually never talked publicly about this ever. One, as an advancing entrepreneur, you are somebody who wants to avoid confusion. So write that down, avoid confusion. And you only want to do things that produce results, yeah? Right? You don't want to waste your time doing things that don't work. So you want to be led and you want to be shown exactly what to do. I believe that all people, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, all people are silently begging to be led. We just want to know, just show me what to do. This is what I'm always saying. Like, if I don't know how to do something, I just want somebody to show me what to do, exactly how to do it. I want to model it. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. You're the same way, right? You want to be led, you want to be shown exactly what to do and exactly how to do it. Because you know in your heart that this produces the quickest results, yeah? And you sometimes don't know what you don't know, right? There's a whole world where there's times when you know that you don't know some things and you can go and learn them. And then there's times where you don't know what you don't know. And you know that to move ahead quickly, you need to know the how, and the how escapes you. And so when the how escapes you, you feel disempowered and you don't take action. So number one is you want to avoid confusion, and you wish that you had proven strategies laid out in front of you step by step, a lesson plan with best practices, innovative solutions, right, that give you results. That is what you need. And that is what advancing entrepreneurs, people who are highly successful, they have that. They have those step by step provided to them by someone else. Number two, as an advancing entrepreneur, you are someone who sometimes feels isolated and misunderstood by your peers. Right? Do you sometimes feel isolated? Do you sometimes feel misunderstood by people in your family, people in your friend group? Right? This is what I've realized is if you feel isolated, to thrive, you need an environment where you can really be you. Right? Stop holding back, take off the mask, you be you, and you need a community of people who champion you and keep you in the vortex, right? I call it the vortex. For years I joked about the client attraction vortex because every time we would get together as a group, in our year-long programs, people would get more clients and make more money. What's that?
Make sure you don't push up against the chair.
Oh, if I push up against the chair.
Yeah, remember scooch in a little bit.
Oh,
loose,
yeah.
not run up against
All
the
right. I'm I'm in the middle of a lesson.
Sorry. You're not, just make sure it's not up against the
Okay, I will. Sorry guys if the microphone is,
It was going in and out, but I think it's better.
the microphone is right behind me. It's like right here, but the pack is behind me. So I'm not gonna bang it onto the chair anymore. So what I'm saying is for you to thrive, you need to be in an environment where you can really be you and where people champion you. Like when you do well, they celebrate you. It's not like you do well and then they you know, what do you call that? Like they like resent you. No, the opposite. So for years I was joking about the client attraction vortex. Every time we would get together, clients would like get results while they're in the room. Like they would get an email with a new client, or they would check their voicemail after a break and they would see that they got a speaking gig, or you know, all these opportunities would come. And I was joking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, the client attraction vortex. Well, if you look up vortex, there is such a thing as when advancing people get together for the sole purpose of growing and sharing best practices and resources and supporting each other, great things happen. Well, that's what advancing entrepreneurs look. So you thrive when you can ask questions, when you can compare notes, but not in a bad way like comparing, but more like, oh, so what do you do to close the sale in that way? Wow, what have you done about hiring? What do you do when you go networking? All of these things. When they can compare notes, when you can compare notes about what's working and you can share best practices and celebrate a big win, I want you to imagine this, right? This happens in the Client Attraction Business School, like on a daily basis, practically. A client of ours will make a large sum of money. You know, I had a client recently in the leverage track who made her first ever $45,000 month. She made $45,000 in 1 month, right? Now, can you imagine going to your neighbor or your best friend, right? And you know, go to your neighbor's house, go ding dong, guess what? I made $45,000 last month. I mean, like, really? They wouldn't even know what to do with you. They would think you're crazy, you're batty, right? Or they would feel like inadequate. But imagine being able to be in a community where you can say to everybody, guess what, you guys? I made my first $45,000 month. And everybody swoops in and celebrates you. It's like, good job, I knew you had it in you, right? It's beautiful. And then when you make $45,000, then they know that it's within them. It's this beautiful community, so you can celebrate a big win and know that you're adding to the group. And you also need a soft place to land if you've had a bad day. I'm not suggesting that I believe that entrepreneurship is a full contact sport, right? It requires a lot of persistence and perseverance. And sometimes there are some days that are not great days. And you need a soft place to land. And you can't always do that with your family or your friends or your spouse or your neighbors or your employees, right? Because then they will start to question you. You just want to be able to have a soft place to land and people who swoop in and say, you know, you'll do better next time, don't worry, look at it on the bright side. And I believe that as an advancing entrepreneur, you need that, right? Number 3, as an advancing entrepreneur, you are someone who often gets sidetracked by bright, shiny objects. Just admit it, right? We all do, right? Because we're advancing, so we're like, oh, should I do this, right? So write that down. I sometimes get sidetracked by bright, shiny objects. If you're anything like me, you thrive, like you do really, really well when instead of like going after all these bright, shiny objects, when you have structure, when you have accountability, when you have regular check-ins, so you stay focused and being focused on what matters most right now, as opposed to, and like putting those blinders on all those things that pull your attention. That's how you really succeed. You get more done, right? I want you to write this down. Every time you add something new to your plate, you delay the results of everything else on your plate. Does that make sense? every time you add a bright, shiny object to what you're doing, you delay the results, right? And you don't get results from things you don't implement. You should write that one down too. That's a Fabienneism. You don't get results from things you don't implement. So each time you add something that's a bright, shiny object, it's like, what's that movie, Derek? It was Up, like where it's like squirrel, 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 right? So you achieve more when you have, I know this in my life, you achieve more when you have regular access to a coach so you stay on track and you produce results so much faster than you would on your own because you have that structure, that regular check-in. Now, when you have all of these things, right, the curriculum, the leadership, the best practices, the creative solutions, the community, the accountability, all of this leads to confidence. You can confidently go in the direction of your dreams, right? When you have the confidence that all of this brings you, you achieve so much more than you ever would on your own. Guaranteed, every time. Because when you, listen, you plant this acorn in the right environment, it can't help but grow. Okay? You give it everything that it needs. It's not going to say, no, I'm not going to grow. It naturally grows. It naturally becomes that oak tree with the right community, the right environment, the right resources. It can't help but grow. And you are the same way. You are the same way. So here's what I know. A traditional business school doesn't give you this. It doesn't give you everything that I just listed. Besides, as we just talked, business school can cost upwards of $40,000 per year, and it still leaves you without the coaching, without the accountability, without the community, without the support, without the best practices. And this is why Derek and I created the Client Attraction Business School. Okay, we know that you're not getting what you want out there. And the Client Attraction Business School is a combination of business school with the curriculum, the step-by-step, all of that, and the business coaching, which you need. I believe that you need coaching. You need somebody to keep you on track who you know, checks in, you check in with resources, etc. But you also need a community. And that's why we've added the community, because that is how you're wired. You're wired to need all three of those things to succeed. Now, you may be asking, okay, I'm on board, but is this for me? Who is this for? Well, there are I believe there are three different entrepreneurial profiles, right? And the first thing that we need to do is have you figure out which business life stage you are in, right? So I'm going to share with you what the three different profiles are. The first one is what I call Ramp Up Rachel or Ramp Up Rob. And Ramp Up Rachel is somebody who is it's you if you are within the first few years of your business, or you are still in corporate and you're transitioning into a new business, and you've had some success in attracting clients, but it's been inconsistent. And you are somebody who typically makes less than $75,000 a year, and you want clarity in your marketing, and you want guidance on next steps for how to get more clients and how to make more money, right? Because you're not interested in everything else that's out there in the business world. You just need right now to have the foundational pieces in place to get more clients and make more money quickly. And that, if that's who you are, you're Ramp Up Rachel or Ramp Up Rob, right? You're in the building stages of your business. You want to bring in more money consistently, and you just it's like, show me how, right? And this is where you need a crystal clear strategy on how to get clients, how to set up the right marketing in your business, how to close the sale, how to create the right marketing message, really getting clarity about not only what you do, who you do it for, but what the results are and where you should be marketing and all that stuff. So that's Ramp Up Rachel and Ramp Up Rob. And then if you are somebody who is a little bit more advanced in your business, you've got clients and you make good money, but you do everything yourself or maybe with just one virtual assistant and you have no time, then you are what I call leverage Lucy or leverage Larry. And basically, you need systems. You need team, systems, technology. You need automation in your business. You need scalable business models. Because when you are leverage Lucy or leverage Larry, you can't make more in your business because there's no more time or no more you to go around. So instead of running your business is running you, and you've created a job for yourself, trading hours for dollars. And you want to grow your business, but you can't, because you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So you're already making good money. You're making $75,000 or more in your business. Usually 75 or 100,000 or more, right? A new level, new devil, right? You've got plenty of clients, but it's like, wow, I don't know, I don't have any freedom. And you're tired, you're overwhelmed. You don't often see your loved ones, and you're feeling guilty about that. And basically, it's time to change how you operate your business. So you're going to want to create some new business models. You're going to want to scale your business and all of that. And basically, you need support, and you need to create some passive and leveraged income. And I believe that you have the right below this video, right, Derek? Right below this video, you have a PDF of the brochure that I'm reading from right now. But, just stay with me for now. So, and then, if you are, there's a third life stage of your business. It's when you're already making 150, 250 or more, and you're looking to take your business to 500,000 or $1 million or more. You want to go to 7 figures, and basically you are visionary Vicky. Or visionary Vince, and you want to. You really want to get to the next big level, and you need we need to change the organizational infrastructure of your business, because you're not running your business like a CEO, and there's mindset, and there's like really creating a legacy and an empire. That's visionary Vicky. If you are that person, you're not described in this brochure. People like that just contact us directly. You know who you are. You would have to be making at least 150 or 250 in the business you want to grow. But right now we're talking about these. So you're either Ramp Up Rachel and Ramp Up Rob, or Leverage Lucy and Leverage Larry. So, you can't be one or the other. What I've learned is I know I've been there, because I was Ramp Up Rachel, or frustrated Fabienne, right? And I've been Leverage Lucy, where I remember this one day. I'll never forget this. I've talked about this on stage before, where Derek said to me, one day he came to me a few years ago and he said, please do not take on any more clients. Claire and I feel like we're losing you, because I was working so hard into the night on weekends. I just never felt like it could catch up. I've been that, and I've been visionary Vicky. I continue to create a legacy and to multiply the business. So I've been where you are. I've done it. I've spent hours, thousands and thousands of hours where you are, and I've figured out the solutions. So the first thing we needed to do was to have you figure out what your business life stage is. So when you download the PDF of the brochure for the Client Attraction Business School, you can see all the criteria, and you'll know right away, like, oh, that's me, or oh, that's me. And now that you know who you are and what you need most, I would like to take a few minutes to explain the different programs, the different tracks in the Client Attraction Business School. So we've got the brochure here, and if you are Ramp Up Rachel or Ramp Up Rob, we have the growth track of the Client Attraction Business School. And the growth track, and let me explain this to you, and you can read about this in the FAQ as well. We'll answer all of your questions in there. But the growth track is curriculum and coaching just for the person who's ramping up their business. It's just focused on getting more clients and making more money. You don't hear about anything that you don't need. It's like single focus. It's exactly what you need to get you past that $75,000 or $100,000 in your business. It is laser-like focus on everything that you need. So every single step of the curriculum, and you can read about this. I don't want to spend too much time on here, because we have one of our students from the Client Attraction Business School who's here, and in about 5 minutes she's going to come and sit next to me and tell you about what she's been able to create in her business by following this curriculum, by following the coaching and all that good stuff. So basically the growth track, you get your own business coach, senior coaches that have worked with me for, oh my gosh, over 5 years. Of me training them, and you get a coaching call every single month with your own coach. You get 3 meetings, 2 days each, 3 meetings with me and Derek and all of the other growth people. We call the program Gold as well. The growth track is Gold, and so all the other people in the growth track, the Goldies as they call themselves, we meet 3 times a year for 2 days. And it's just best practices. We do hot seats, marketing makeovers. We tell you what's working right now, and we basically answer all of your questions. So not only do you have your own coach, but you have me and Derek, and these retreats are amazing. When you get into this client attraction vortex, it is astounding what happens. Now, one of the things that's brand new. We already have clients who fly in from, we have a client who flies in every 90 days from Australia to be part of our programs. That's a lot of flying. People from all over Europe and Canada and the UK fly in. What's new about the growth track, starting this semester, is that you, just as you are watching me on Livestream right now, you will get to see, you get to participate live in all of the growth track meetings, the gold meetings, from your home. So it's better to come in person, but if you simply cannot do that, we are truly becoming a global company where if you live in India, if you live in Germany, if you live in the Bahamas, if you live in the Netherlands, if you live in Africa, it doesn't matter where you live, you can fully be part of the Client Attraction Business School and get the results. You'll also get the curriculum classes. Every other week you get a curriculum, like me teaching you how to get clients. You'll read about all of this. You'll get daily accountability from me, an email from me, every weekday that shows you exactly what you need to be doing. And you'll also get a daily buddy. So somebody on the Facebook group just for your track, who you will pair up, and every 120 days you will select a new buddy to talk to for 5 minutes each day to say, did you do what you said you were going to do yesterday? Awesome, great. What are you going to do today to get more clients? And I can't tell you about the Facebook group. It is unbelievable what happens. These people become if you choose to do this, right, you will become so close to, and we'll ask Catherine when she joins me in about 5 minutes, what it's like to be part of this tribe of advancing entrepreneurs. People in the Client Attraction Business School, it's so funny, more than just about anything, they say the Facebook community is priceless. If you have a question, boom, you put in, what do you use for blah, blah, blah? 10 people, 20 people will say, I use this, and this is how I use it, and this is why it's good. If you have a question about what do you think of my tagline, boom, they come in and they give you feedback. If you want to celebrate something with them, you say, hey Goldies, I'm here to celebrate something, and all of a sudden you've got like hundreds of people, not hundreds, but like dozens of people saying, congratulations, you inspire me, blah, blah. And if you have a tough day, you can go in and say, oh, I'm licking my wounds, something happened, what's your advice around this? And all these yummy people come in. This is support like you've never had before. And there's other bonuses and stuff like that. You can read it all in the brochure. So that's the growth track. And very, very briefly, I'm going to talk to you about the leverage track, right? The leverage track is for Leverage Lucy and Leverage Larry. And basically it's to have you implement team systems, technology, automation, putting your marketing on autopilot, scalable business models, leveraging what you know, leveraging your expertise so that you can create passive income, leveraged income. And you'll read about everything here. I don't want to take up the time since it's already written, but basically you get 4 2-day retreats with me and Derek for continuous learning. It's a small group, best practices, coaching, marketing, masterminding. There's masterminding in both. I forgot to mention how much I require masterminding in my life, and the masterminding is absolutely amazing. And what you'll find is when you are in the leverage track, everybody, there's an income requirement, so you can't be in leverage unless you've reached a certain income requirement and you are having leverage Lucy or leverage Larry issues and problems. So everybody in that room is at the same level. You don't have somebody just starting out. You have somebody who's just like you, needing to get to the next level. The tribe is unlike anything I've ever experienced before. You have curriculum. You start off your year, your leverage track year with me, or a 60-minute phone call with me, where I map out over the hour with you. You filled out this long questionnaire that you sent to me and that I read personally, and I map out your marketing, your year with you. I map out your systems, your team, your technology. We look at passive and leveraged income models for you. So you start off with that strategic planning intensive hour with me, and then you have weekly coaching with me and Derek. Right? 1 week it's me, small group. 1 week it's me. 1 week it's Derek. 1 week it's me. 1 week it's Derek. So you have access to us every single week. You can come in, ask your question, listen to what the other members of the leverage track are asking. That we all basically, you come into the call and you say, "Hey, here's what I've accomplished. Help me celebrate this. Here's what I'm working on, and here's how I need your help." And we all help you. It is amazing what happens. You also get curriculum on, plus transcripts and assignments every 2 weeks. Team, systems, technology. I give you all my best practices, step by step by step by step, show you exactly how to do things. And you can just read about, you get the daily accountability, you get to come to the workshops, lots and lots of stuff. For both of these, you can invest an additional small fee and bring your spouse to all of these things. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this, but basically, here's what I want you to do. I want you to download this and also download the FAQ, right? The FAQ answers just about any question that you might have about the Client Attraction Business School is answered here. Even if you're not interested, I want you to read it anyway, because it's going to give you everything that you need. Now, should I tell them about the spouse thing, the website?
Yeah.
Yeah. So some people have already asked about what if your spouse won't let you. One of the questions in the FAQ says, I want to apply, I want to enroll, but I'm not so sure my spouse will be okay with the investment. How do I get my spouse to support me in this decision? My whole answer is here, but basically you can direct your spouse to, and just write this down now, clientattractionspouse.com, because Derek and I recorded a special video message about the importance of supporting your spouse in the growth of their business and the mutual benefit. But basically, the FAQ answers all your questions. So once you've done that, this is the order in which you want to do this. First, you want to read the brochure, right? Then you want to read the FAQ, and they're all right below this video. You can download them. Then you want to download the application. And the application is a short application. And I'm going to read you the quote that it says in the front here. It's a quote by yours truly. And it says, "Successful people take decisive action. They don't overthink everything. Rather, they trust their gut. When they are presented with an opportunity that answers their greatest challenge, they say yes to it immediately, knowing that it was divinely given. They don't hesitate, they don't delay. They know that because the opportunity was presented, it was meant to be. This is the one universal characteristic that makes them successful and helps them create results that astound all others around them." So I want you to fill out this application. Now, whether you're interested, if you know, you know who you are, right? You know who you are. If you are meant to work with us, then fill it out and send it in, right? All of the instructions are there. The application is right below. Even if you're not sure, what I would like for you to do is fill out the application as a gap analysis. A gap analysis is helping you see where you are and where do you want to be and what's holding you back. Okay, fill this out in earnest. I will never know if you filled it out and not sent it in. You will know that. But this is about you really seeing, like, where are you in your business right now? What are you doing to currently market your business? What are your 3 biggest obstacles? What new or expanded services or products do you want to introduce this year? And what 3 things about your business or your life would you like to change? And if so, what would these things be? And what's your long-term vision of your company and things like that? Fill this out. Now, if you fill this out, when you fill this out, and if you feel like, I really love the idea of having a business school and a coach and access to Derek and Fabienne and daily accountability and a community and a tribe and focus on implementation and all these people, this Facebook group, a daily buddy, all of this. If you know that that is the environment that will take you as the acorn and turn you into the oak tree, then send it in. Now, I have something really cool. I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream, and I know that I want to bring Catherine here because she can tell you better than I can what it's like to be in the Client Attraction Business School. But what I want you to know is that not only do you get all this, by the way, we didn't even mention tuition. Tuition is incredibly affordable. It's not $40,000 a year. It's not $25,000 a year. It's a lot less than that. And when you fill it out and you send it in today, tomorrow, anytime before May 29th, so that's next Wednesday, Derek? Next Wednesday, May 29th, you receive a free day with me called the Strategic Planning Day. It is about us. It's happening in the fall of 2013, and it's a full day with me at the Stanford Yacht Club where I will help you map out all of 2014. I'm going to take you through my strategic planning exercise, how I map out what I want to create, how much money I want to make, what I want to launch, and all that. Really map out the entire thing. It's free of charge. All you have to do is get yourself there. So I will take care of lunch. Well, it's beautiful. It's by the water. Like, really, you just get yourself there. Now, can I tell them that this might be live stream? Derek thinks it's funny when I go like this for video. In fact, my entire technology team thinks it's funny when I go like this. But we will be live streaming the strategic planning full day from the Yacht Club. So if you are living in, Tanzania and you join the Client Attraction Business School before today or before next Wednesday, May 29th, you can just sit in from the comfort of your own home on this strategic planning day. Come in person if you can, because it's so much different in person. But basically, what I want to say to you is, as soon as you send in your completed application, our enrollment advisor and program advisor will read through this, and we will all look at it. And if you are right for it, and we process you can, by the way, I forgot to also mention, the tuition you can do all up front, which is the best deal, or we have installments. You can invest in this in 9 or 10 installments. All the details will be in here. But what was I saying? You get started the minute that your tuition goes through. So if you want to get started tomorrow, then you send in your application today. If you want to meet all of the people in the track that you're going to be in, and you want to be invited to Facebook, and you want to start the curriculum and watch the welcome video and all that, just send it in today. Don't wait till next Wednesday. But you have until next Wednesday if you have to think about it. The dates, Derek, they're also below? Okay, it's all part of the brochure. You have the dates for the program. if for some reason you're joining the leverage track and one of the dates doesn't work, we have other leverage programs going on at the same time, so it's easy to swap out a date. And remember, the growth track, which is the Ramp Up Rachel one, is being live streamed. So even if you can't make a certain date, you will have time to go over that. So our first meetings start in June, next month. So it's amazing, the live meetings for both the growth track and the leverage track. So that's basically what I want to say. I want to call Catherine in here. So the order I want you to do this in is, and listen, if you're not interested, that's cool too. I only want to work with people who are advancing entrepreneurs and who can see the value in this. Because you're going to get your return on investment usually within 3 or 4 months. Some people make back their investment very, very quickly and multiply it. So the order is brochure, then FAQ, and then download the application, fill it out as a gap analysis, and send it back in. Are we ready for Catherine? Are they getting good value? Tell me what they've said.
There's some questions, but I think we'll have Catherine come in and then we can answer some questions. Come on.
Are we ready for Catherine? Oh, you look so pretty. Hi.
Emma.
Yay. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Come on in. Grab your chair. It's so good to see you. Come really close to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna come really close. I'm gonna move that really far
Yeah.
from me.
Yeah.
I'm notorious.
Hi.
Hi.
So good to see you. What are we doing? More? You gotta
More
get
close.
closer.
Ooh.
Oh, are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm diamond protected me.
So, thank you so much for coming here.
Thank
Do you have a
you.
microphone, or are we using my microphone?
Yeah,
We're using mine?
Yeah, you can use the two of them together.
Okay,
We're
what are
really
we
gonna
doing?
be
No, we're
close.
going to really be close. So, Catherine, you live. Thank you. This is my cheat sheet. So, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Have you heard any of this from my office? My office is right there, you guys. So Catherine was in my office. Were you able to hear anything, or not really?
A little bit of it, yes.
Okay, all right. So there's some people all around the world, right now who are on this live stream. Simply because they want to find out more about the Client Attraction Business School, because they're interested. Either they're super interested, or they're like questioning, like, oh, am I maybe curious about what this is about? So tell us about what tell us who you are, your business, and all that, and what your situation was like before you enrolled in the Client Attraction Business School.
So I'm Catherine Avery with Avery Design Interiors, and my situation was a year ago I was struggling. I didn't know what to do next. I had no idea that I didn't know what I didn't know. Mm-hmm. I was trying to be a square peg fitting in a round hole, and it wasn't working. I was trying to be all things to all people, and I needed to get really narrow.
What was not working in your business?
What was working in my business? Not much was working in my business.
What were you struggling with?
I
What were your
was
obstacles?
struggling with marketing. I was struggling with how to find my ideal clients. I was struggling with trying to be a residential designer when in my heart I knew as an office designer.
Yeah.
And once I made that shift and went directly for only what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be, the clients started to come in.
And how does that feel when clients start to come in?
It feels amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I really love it, and I love being of service to my clients. It's just a great feeling.
Yeah, and so what have you been able to create in terms of, things that like you just didn't know was possible?
Started with a whole new website, and really reached out to the resources within our group to get the help I needed to do those kinds of things. I'm going to take a video class this summer.
Yep.
So I've got 11 videos I did with one of the people in our
Yep.
group.
Yep.
And then I'm doing video blogging starting this summer. I've
Yep.
got all of it lined up for my class. A tremendous investment in myself. Very, very different mindset than I used to have. Really get uplifted by all the people in our group.
Would you tell them, because I can tell them all day long how special, so we call it the growth track and the leverage track. You're in the growth track. Mm-hmm. And when I tell people about our tribe of Goldies, like anything I say, they're gonna be like, yeah, whatever. She's just, tell them.
That's the best part. It's the best part.
It really is. Like
it's we all had a barbecue last weekend. A whole group of us got together with our kids, and the kids played together. And I was telling Jen before I came in, it's just an amazing feeling to be together. It's not just business; it's also personal friendships. It's we really lift one another up. So if someone's struggling, I never hesitate to pick up a phone and call someone in our group and say, I'm really struggling right now, can you help me?
yeah. And when you have something to celebrate, who do you celebrate with?
Always with other people in the group. It's always either we're on Facebook or we're calling each other on the phone saying,
It's a private. It's a private Facebook group. Yeah, you're never going to believe this, but this is what happens.
It's really exciting. It's really, I sent the text to Charles.
Yeah.
While you guys were at MYM.
Yeah.
And said how excited I was. I just gotten this client from my warm letter mailing, and I don't know if you remember this. I was very resistant to doing warm letter mailing. I was not going to do them.
Yeah.
And I did 112 the first time, and I'm up to 500 now. And the next one's going out next week.
Awesome. And so you've gotten clarity around your business because you used to be like really trying to do this residential and if truth be told, like it was like effort.
Yeah.
And now you're like doing what you love.
I am, and I'm getting bigger and bigger clients, and I just found out yesterday that I qualify to sit for the licensing exam.
That's awesome.
So that's a whole nother step that goes way beyond what I'm doing now. So I'm really excited about it.
Let me see my little cheat sheet here. So before joining the Client Attraction Business School, you said that you struggled with defining what your business would look like, and you were unfocused, and you dragged through the days not knowing the next step. Is that true now, or have you figured it out?
No. I get up in the morning and I have a plan. Actually, I've written the plan down the night before, so I know what I'm going to do on any given day in advance, and I have a huge calendar in my office with all my topics for the entire year laid out, so I know what the e-zine is going to be, what the blog post is going to be. I can map out the whole thing and have a plan what I'm going to do for each set of 3 months.
Does that give you more confidence knowing that?
And it just is easy. It's easier. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to get up this morning and say, oh, what am I going to do today to make my business move forward?
Yeah.
I've already decided. I know what I'm doing today.
It's done. It's done. You said you joined the growth trap because Fabienne handed us the playbook, and I knew that if I had support and implemented the steps, I could create a business that works for me, for my family, and myself. One of the things, and you doubled your monthly income. Mm-hmm. High five, girlfriend.
Thank you.
Woo!
Very excited.
How's that feel?
It feels great. I want to double again.
Yeah, well, hey, stick around, right?
Exactly.
Stick around. You up-leveled and systematized your social media efforts, etc., nearly doubling the followers on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. Since joining, you've invested in your business and yourself, and you didn't always do that.
No, not at all. I really didn't feel the sense of self-worth, and I wanted to, when I came last year, I saw how much enthusiasm and passion people had and how they really took care of themselves, and I thought it was really important that I had to take care of myself. So the very first thing I did was I needed to lose weight. So I lost 30 pounds.
And how, just tell them, first of all, I still, you shrunk before our eyes, like really within a matter of months. I mean, how, you lost 30 pounds?
It took me 6 months, yeah.
6 months. We didn't even talk about losing weight, but just, I think it's by virtue of doing the thing that you love, as opposed to doing the thing you don't love. With those clients weren't your ideal clients. These are your ideal clients.
It's great to work with ideal clients.
Yeah, and making more money, that reduced the stress probably, and being surrounded by all these yummy goldies, this tribe, and having the confidence that comes from being successful in your business. I mean, you didn't even effort, like you just lost the 30 pounds.
I did go on a diet.
Yeah,
so
but I mean,
some effort, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
It was a decision I made.
It was a decision.
I made a decision that I was going to
self-care.
do it and really take care of myself, and it's been great. I feel much better every day for taking care of myself. And a green smoothie for breakfast.
Yes, I love the green smoothie. Woohoo! And it's just not a whole different lifestyle. The green smoothie is not part of the curriculum, but it's very difficult to not get healthy when you're in our program.
You get extra bonuses.
Derek wants to take a picture.
I got that.
It's an extra bonus. So the biggest shifts you say here is that you've been thinking of yourself as the CEO of your business, and instead of just dreaming the dreams, now you go after them and implement.
Right, and there's sort of two parts to that. The first part is the vision and the dream and the path and where you're going. And the second piece is I used to be really reticent. Oh, I can't call so-and-so to do this. Now I set up my project management system, and I think, why am I doing this? I'm not doing this. And someone else can handle this.
Yes.
And I hand it off right away, right through the system. And it's an email, and it goes out to the virtual admin, and they handle it.
Yeah.
And I don't have to deal with it. And then I get an email back, and it says, it's done. Yeah. And every time it comes back and says it's done, I just have like this high. It's so great.
It's so amazing.
It's like a business high.
So amazing. You wrote, I am surrounded by like-minded entrepreneurs who understand what I'm going through, who have been there, and who want me to achieve success. Tell them what it feels like to have that kind of that environment. You know, you may not have been here, but I said that this is the acorn. This was you, and now you turn into this tree. It's them right now, and I said that if you don't plant this in the right environment, and you don't give it the resources and everything that it needs, you leave it on this table, it'll stay an acorn. And you got planted in this environment of like-minded entrepreneurs who understand what you're going through and who have been there and who want you to succeed. What is that like?
Supportive. I can't think of another really great word for it. It's just knowing there's someone always there for you. There's always someone you can pick up the phone and talk to. I never had people around me who really got what I was doing. My dad's an entrepreneur, but he had taken over a company, so he didn't really understand what it meant to build it from the ground up. I mean, when you're starting from scratch and taking this idea you're completely passionate about that no one else is doing, and building it up, and you need people around you to support you to do that.
Can you do it alone?
Faster. Oh, I don't think so. I used to think I could do it alone.
I used to think so. Yeah, it's a bunch of baloney. Like, you can't. If you look at every highly successful person that you know, they are either part of, they have a mentor, they have a mastermind, they have peers, they're in a community of people who pull them into their future and who believe in them. And it makes all the difference in the world. Would you go back now to being solo?
Oh, no way.
No way.
Absolutely
I wouldn't
not.
either.
I can't imagine it.
I wouldn't either.
Can't imagine.
You, read this last sentence here.
My entire, all capitalized, life has changed, and at least 95% of it is mindset. Fabienne has such a gift at seeing the best in people and bringing it out. I'm going to cry, you know that. I learned how to believe in myself because she believed in me.
Tell them what it means.
I didn't have faith in myself. I didn't trust myself. I didn't think I could do it. And
you're not the only one, by the way.
I know.
No, Catherine Avery is not the only person on earth who doesn't have faith in herself.
So I think just knowing that you're there and that you've done it and that you've been there and been in those shoes, and it's not like you up here saying, oh yeah, I don't remember what that was like.
No, I remember.
Which is great, because I needed someone to say, I get your struggle, I understand you're struggling right now, and I've been there. And then that way I could say, well, if she can do that,
yep,
I can
and
do
with
that.
the best practices. And what do you, I mean, the website makeovers, what do you think of those when Derek does those, and the hot seats? And,
I'm waiting for mine.
Yeah.
Derek.
Yeah. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. I think we should do one for Catherine because she came here. Yeah. But like all of that, what does that bring? Like that whole, it's like that whole new depth of, oh, I didn't know that I should be doing that for my website.
That's a huge part of it. I haven't talked about SEO. I've been working with Charles and I have gotten, my goal was to get Office Design Fairfield and Office Design Connecticut on the first page of Google.
Yeah.
And it is.
Yes!
That
Yes!
happened a couple of weeks ago. So
Woo!
I've been really working on the SEO. And again, that's the team. You can't do it alone.
You
I don't know
can't.
SEO.
Yeah. And you should.
I know more now.
Yeah.
But and the list building and all the tools, it really is. I mean, I was likening it to like a football team. And if you're willing to run with the ball, Fabienne and Derek will help point you towards the goal line, and they'll give you the playbook. I mean, you'll get how to do it in the system, how it works, and then you just follow the steps.
Yeah, yeah. So there's somebody right now, the people who I get who are already filling this out, they know, right? They just know, and some maybe not. And there's somebody who's like, should I do this? Like, they're listening to the voice. Their intuition says yes. there's a reason why you're here. You've been asking for this. And then there's a couple people who might be like, oh, I'm on the fence. What would you say to them, knowing what you know now and having seen not just your transformation, but all of the other transformations that have happened in your class this first year? What would you say to them if they're thinking about, oh, the investment, or oh, I've never invested in myself before, or will it work for me?
For me, it was such a gut decision. It was really quite unbelievable. I had never invested in myself, not even say, 1/10 of that amount of money, and it is really good value because I investigated other coaching programs after the fact for comparison's sake, and I just say, if you feel like this is the right move, you have to do it. You have to do it. It's going to change your business, your life. It's changed my marriage. I'm married 10 years last weekend.
Congratulations.
And thank you.
How has it changed your marriage?
I'm more likely to say things to my husband that I wouldn't have said before, like, I'm working this hard because I really want this to be about us and our family. I want this for us.
Yeah.
I'm much more transparent about how I feel about things than I used to be. I was very closed off, and now you watch Derek and Fabienne, and they're open, and it's been important for me to be able to say to him why I'm doing this. This is for my family.
Yeah.
This isn't just for me. And when he saw that, he was so struck by, running my own business and not having a 9-to-5 job means being able to pick up my daughter at 3:30 and take her to School of Rock, and being available for the dance performance and doing those kinds of things that I couldn't have done before. It doesn't mean that I don't sometimes work Saturday morning at 6 a.m. because I do, but it gives me the ability to structure my life around my business as opposed to having my business run my life. Does that sound accurate?
Absolutely. We talked about it, how sometimes you create a JOB for yourself when you don't know what you're doing. And it's like it's like worse than if you were working for somebody else. So scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, this was the best investment I've ever made in myself. 1 being like, this stinks.
15 and a half.
15 and a half.
That's a really unbelievable experience. I've been, I always get very sort of,
me too.
I'm so filled with gratitude. It's a total game changer.
Yeah, and the great thing is you start at the growth track if you're at that level, and then when you're ready, you accelerate. Like there's, then you move on to leverage, or things like that, and you just keep staying plugged in, right? If you want or not, but.
And I think there's a lot of striving when you're in the growth track. You see the people in the leverage track, and you think that's where I want to go.
Yeah,
that's my next step. Really excited about it.
Yeah, it's like this. What do you want to say? The motivation to move to the next level, because it's possible. In fact, I spoke to yesterday on the phone. I actually put this on Facebook yesterday afternoon. I don't know if you saw it, but one of our leverage track clients, who is in her second year of leverage. Because it's very common for people to just keep staying plugged in. We have some clients who have been in the Client Attraction Business School for 4 years now, many of them in 3 years. And some start in growth, and then within 6 months, they've grown their business so much that they bump up to leverage and then bump up to visionary. It can happen all within a year and a half, 2 years. So she's in your business, and she started in leverage a little over a year ago, and it was just her, and she had plenty of clients. But she told me, you can look on the Facebook fan page. I wrote everything. She said she was overwhelmed, like tears in her eyes, because she now has a storefront. She has 4 junior designers working for her, or 1 office manager and 3 junior designers. We're just really creating a huge brand. She's got systems, operations, team, technology. She's scaling her business. And this is your future, right? And so in the growth track, like you've had the foundation, we're going to accelerate those results. And then if you want to grow even more, then it's you step into the leverage track.
And I think what's amazing is if you come in at the growth track and you're starting a new business and you're, not in business 7, 8, 9 years already, not that there's value in either way, but in my case, I feel like I've already started setting in all those systems.
Yeah.
So they're already being put in place as opposed to later scrambling to put that in place after the fact.
Yeah.
So that's been a real advantage for me.
So 15 and a half out of 10. I think that's good. I think
My
that's
math
good.
is a little faulty.
No, I like that. I like that kind of math. Thank you. Thank you
you.
for inspiring these. Here's what I want to say to you. You will never know. I hear about this usually 2 or 3 years later. Somebody will say, I took a different step in my life, and they'll say it was because of Catherine Avery. She inspired me. She made me believe in myself. She made me believe in my future. And you have created a ripple effect today where there's somebody there who didn't necessarily believe in themselves, and now hearing your story, they will. And they will create a different future for themselves based on you spending these few minutes with us. And I really want to thank you for that. It's incredibly generous of you. And you've just changed some lives. So
Thank you.
Thank you
Such
so
a
much.
pleasure. Thank you so much, Fabienne.
You're welcome.
Love you
You're
guys
welcome.
tons.
Love you too. Tell them your website one more time.
www.averydesigninteriors.com.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Everybody give her a hand. Yay! Thank you, Catherine. I'm going to resituate myself. How's that? Am I more centered, Joe? Yeah? Move this chair out of the way. How's that? Better? All right. So Derek, do we
some questions.
we have questions? Okay,
Yeah.
I can answer them. Do you mind if I drink some water while you ask me questions?
I think, one of the things that questions are coming up around, people are kind of fearful about taking this next type of a big step in terms of the investment. Some people are saying they don't have all of the money, they're wondering if they're going to get the return on their investment. What can you do to talk about the fear that comes up when they're considering making a big commitment, a big decision like this?
Yeah. Okay. So I really want to honor that question about.
Repeat it.
Oh yeah. Sorry. The question that some of you are asking is that I've never invested in myself before. I'm feeling some fear of will it work for me? What do I have to do, and how do I make decisions when there's so much fear? I actually write about this in my new book, and it's about making decisions from faith and not from fear. So I'll give you an example. Whenever I have a really big decision to make in my life, and this has happened many times, I take a sheet of paper and I write at the top what I want to do. So for example, join the Client Attraction Business School. That'll be at the top. Then I draw a line in the center vertically, and I swear it to you, I do this. Pros and cons. And the pros are all the pros of joining the Client Attraction Business School. And it could be, I'll know exactly what to do. When I do them, I will get results. Having these people, having this instruction, having this access, having the daily accountability, knowing what to do and how to do it, to model it. Just write everything. What will happen as a result of being part of this? For most people, just a few clients pays for the entire investment. So the coaching pays for itself. The curriculum. The investment pays for itself in the form of new clients. You write all of that out in the pros list. And then you put the cons list. And usually the cons list is, I've not invested in myself, can I do this? Now, obviously I want to say this, and I write this in the FAQ, right? If joining the Client Attraction Business School is going to bring financial hardship to you and your family, and you have to foreclose the house, do not enroll. We don't want somebody on the brink of, total disaster if they've made an investment in themselves. But, you can also do the installments. So write the pros list and write the cons list. Usually the cons list is very, very short, and the pros list is very, very long. And I want you to write this down. This is what I say to myself. I make decisions based on faith, not fear. Because within you, and what I mean by that is everything that's in the pros column is faith-based. You have faith that, it's a positive thing, obviously, because it's a pros. And usually whatever is in the cons column is related to a fear. Now you have to understand that there are two voices within you. There's a voice that is negative. It's what I call the inner gremlin, the inner critic. It says, you're not good enough, and you don't know enough, and this could be a terrible mistake. That's your ego, and your ego is not interested in you growing, because as you grow, your ego gets squashed. There's and the voice of the ego talking to you about fear. In fact, the ego's biggest sword is fear, right? It controls you with fear. And most of the people not playing a bigger game are the ones that listen to that inner ego voice based in fear. There is another voice within you that is much subtler, much more subtle, and much softer. And it is extremely loving. And it whispers to you almost. And it is positive, and it is your intuition, and it is faith, and it is God speaking through you. This is how I view it in my life. Your intuition comes from your higher source, and it tells you you can do it. It tells you that this is within your reach. Don't worry, it's going to be fine. Now, the people who listen to their intuition, to that much softer voice, are the people who focus on the pros are the people who eventually succeed, right? They succeed so much more than everyone else because they're not going to listen to that barking ego voice. They listen to their source. So I want to ask you that question. Do you make decisions from fear or from faith? And you create your life based on what voice you listen to. And you can't play a bigger game when you are listening to fear. Do you have another question, Derek?
Yeah, so somebody would like to know what's the difference between the bi-weekly growth track curriculum and what's available in, like, say, the home study system that maybe they've purchased in the past?
Yeah, there's the client attraction system that people have purchased in the past, and it is the foundational pieces. When you get into the growth track, it is so much more encompassing. The curriculum goes so much deeper, more examples, more things to do, and exactly how to do them in a way that being in a binder, you can't get the same. When you are in the growth, you've got your coach. You've got the meetings with me and Derek. You can come to the meetings and say, and most people do, like, how do I apply this in my business? How do I get clarity in my? So it's way beyond just the curriculum. It's the entire package. It's the accountability. It's the resource. It's the community. Without that, I've found that people just can't really get off the ground as much. Do we have more questions?
Yeah, so there's a couple people, and we may want to talk about this because some people have been to the events and they know about, for example, the 50 ways.
Yep. Do you want me to talk about the 50 ways?
Yeah, because some people are referring to it and they have
Okay.
exercise, others don't, and some people are saying, I really want to participate. How are some ways that I can come up with some new money in my business so that I can afford this?
Okay, so we have some people who are in the chat who've been to my events, who've part of this program, and they are referring to the 50 ways list. And the 50 ways list is something that I share with my students and with my clients, and it's a way for you to be able to afford anything that you want right now, and anything. And here's the premise of the 50 ways list, is that when you ask, it is always given, right? It is a universal law, universal principle. When you ask for something, it is always given. But so let's say you want to be able to afford the entire tuition in full. You just ask. And universal law states that when you ask, it is given, but it's not necessarily like you get that check in the mail. Sometimes that happens, but it comes in the form of an opportunity, usually an opportunity that you haven't actioned yet. So the assignment that we give our students and our clients and those who attend our events is, and we give them this list, and it's basically to write down 50 ways that you can bring in new money into your life right now, by next Wednesday, the 29th. This always happens because the universal law around bringing in more money is the same as the law of gravity. Let's say you grab an apple from the tree and you let go of it, it doesn't hover in midair, it doesn't go sideways, it doesn't go up. The apple always goes down, right? And with that mathematics, scientific certainty, the same thing happens when you ask. So, in fact, Derek, can we give them the 50 ways? Yeah, I would like to give you the gift of the 50 ways list. So I guess Joe will put it right under, yep. We'll do it? Okay. So here's what you do is once our team puts the 50 ways list, you can read the top and it says basically, so let me just backtrack. So when you ask, it is given, right? But we tend to not think about, like not see the opportunity as the answer to what we've asked for. So what the ways for you to make the money to pay for this tuition in full by next Wednesday or to pay for the first installment by next Wednesday is right under your nose. And basically you just have to go look for it. So you're going to download the 50 ways list and you're going to fill it out in its entirety. And this is where people get tripped up, okay? What happens is you're going to think about ways to make more money that are in your life right now. So perhaps it's a client, it's a potential client that hasn't fully committed yet, and all you have to do is have a conversation and then they sign up with you and there's that new money. Perhaps it's a speaking gig that you've been wanting to do. Perhaps it's this new program. Perhaps it's that it's not about selling off your Rolex or your boat. It's not about, I'm doing it again? Yeah. It's, I will. Okay. It's not about selling anything off and going from that place of lack. It's about bringing new money into your life. So am I still doing it?
Yeah, we're off. Hold on.
Okay.
Sounds really low.
Do you want me to speak some more? Yeah, I guess something's off with the sound.
Keep talking.
Okay. So basically,
Yeah,
we're good? We're good? Okay. So basically,
no, we're not good.
Okay.
It's not loud.
Fool around with it? I don't know. Maybe touch it.
Can-
The back of it.
The back of it. This gives you an opportunity to think about how to bring in money into your life. Is it working some more or no? Yeah? Yes?
Yep.
Okay, we'll keep going. So basically, there are ways for you to make more money right now in your life. And I remember many, many years ago, in the way beginning of my business where I didn't have, like the cash flow wasn't, rolling in. And I decided, because I wanted to afford something very specific that was worth several thousands of dollars, I decided to do whatever I needed to bring in new money. So I made a list of just ways to bring in new money. This wasn't even this 50 ways list, but I'm going to tell you something super, super cool about it that you will not expect in just a minute, and the power of this 50 ways list. So I made this list and I decided just anything the short of hanging out on 42nd Street, right, to bring in new money. And one of the things that I did was, it could be house sitting, it could be babysitting, it could be, whatever. I decided to hold some getting started in the kitchen cooking classes. Why? Because I'd gone to the French Culinary Institute. I'm a good cook. And I realized that at that time in New York City, there were a lot of people my age who didn't know how to cook. They were eating out every day. So every time I did a getting started in the kitchen cooking class, I would make several $100s. And it was so much fun for me, and it was easy, and I enjoyed it, and I made money at it, right? There are ways for you to make money right now. Right? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to download the 50 ways list and fill it out in its entirety. But here's the kicker. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get to like 9 or 16 or 26 things that you can do to make new money. And then you're going to say, I can't finish it. This doesn't work. I can't think of anything else. And then most people would give up. And this is where I ask you to stay in faith, trust this process, and stay with the sheet, even if you have to finish it tomorrow. But basically get to 26, get to 17, get to 37, and when you have written, this is the coolest thing, this is the miraculous thing that happens. When you have exhausted all of your ideas, if you stay with it and you look for more ideas, they will be downloaded to you. My experience is that the divine comes in and fills out the rest of the list with you. until you get to 50 ways. And it works every time. And just about every time I too get to like 27 or 37 or 42 and I'm like, I got nothing left. And then I stay with it, whew, it comes. And it's very humbling, and I usually cry a little bit because I realize I'm not alone. And so the way for you to afford anything is to, if you want this, if you really want this, you download that and you fill out the entire 50 ways. And then you look at the list and you say, I can do these 6 or 9 things, and you take action on them today. You reach out to that prospective client. You create that product. You just do whatever it takes. If you're committed to being in this client attraction business school because you recognize the value, you recognize that being part of this will mean planting yourself in the environment and getting all the resources you need to reach your full potential of abundance and prosperity, of really taking your message and taking it to the world, letting those who don't know you exist get to work with you and make more money as a result. So do that assignment and then take action on those things. You don't have to take action on all 50, although, hey, by all means, do. If you want to, but at least start with 6 or 9 of them. Derek and I do this exercise all the time. Anytime we want to afford something big, we stay in faith and we say, if I have asked, it is given. That means the way for me to afford whatever I want is in my life right now. And then we do this list and it works every time. That's why all of our students and clients are telling you about the 50 ways list, is because they've done it themselves and it's worked. What else can I answer, Derek?
Just to maybe go over once more as we wrap up the kind of details of the program, the dates, what they receive, and the planning and strategy day.
Okay.
Enrolling by the 29th.
Okay, so what you do, if you're interested in doing this, is first read the brochure, which is under this video. Read every single word of it. What I forgot to tell you is next to each section, you'll have some success stories from each track. There's one for the leverage track, and there's one for the growth track, right? So you can read the success stories. Read every single word of this. Next, read the FAQ. Every single word of this, right? And get really familiar with everything. You'll find out everything that you need to. If it's a question of not knowing if your spouse will be. Are we replaying this or not,
Yeah,
Derek?
and tell them also that we're going to be making a replay available by the weekend.
Oh, so this is the cool thing, is if you're not sure if your spouse will understand, because your spouse doesn't know who I am or what the Client Attraction Business School is, we're going to replay this live cast this weekend. So I would recommend when you find out when it's being replayed.
It's not a recording. They can watch it whenever.
You can watch it whenever you want. Sorry.
Starting this weekend.
Starting this weekend, okay? And you can watch it at any time you want with your spouse, and have them watch the 2 hours with you. Have them watch the success panel. Is the success panel under here as well?
The video's there.
So make sure to watch the success panel if you haven't seen it yet, because you can hear from 8 or 9 or 10 of our students at every single level. There's a bunch of growth people, a bunch of leverage people, and somebody in the visionary. Watch it with them. You might say, that's an hour-long video and this is a 2-hour-long video, but if you do that and you go to clientattractionspouse.com with your spouse this weekend and you watch the video of me and Derek, and I'm just going to let you in on something. Yes, I got a little teary-eyed in the clientattractionspouse.com video, and the only way for you to find out what I got teary-eyed about is by watching it. But basically, do all 3 of these things, and I want you to, and then download and fill out the application, even if you're not sure, just as a gap analysis, and just put your intention in it and send it in. And here's what happens. You start the program as soon as you send it in. As soon as payment goes through within, I don't want to say within 24 hours, but if the likelihood is if you send it in on a weekday, within 24, the next business day, you get started. You get to meet everybody on in the Facebook group. You get to introduce your business. You get to start. And if you send it in before May 29th, which is next Wednesday, It has to come, your application has to come in before midnight Eastern on May 29th, next Wednesday. You get to come or attend via live stream, but come in person, it's worth it. This fall, I'm going to do a planning and strategy day, strategic planning day, to help you map out your big goals, forecast what you're gonna make and how you're gonna make it for 2014. We've done this before and it was incredibly powerful. And I answered that question, Derek. So we're good? I mean, it's 3 o'clock, so.
Yeah,
we're kind of wrapping up. So
You know,
what are they saying? What did they like about today?
Got a bunch of people really appreciated the 50 ways.
Great, you're welcome. You're
And I
welcome,
think
the
even
50
if
ways.
they haven't been able to finish it, it's like the exercise of going through it.
You
So
have to finish the 50 ways list. The magic is in surrendering and knowing that you don't have all the answers, which is kind of what this Client Attraction Business School is too. It's surrendering, knowing you don't necessarily have all the answers, but they can be given to you, right?
And I think also people.
Do you want to come and sit next to me, Derek?
No, I'm trying to figure that
Okay.
out. The people really appreciated also the success panel, like the people were
Oh,
watching it last night.
You watched the success panel last night and you liked it. I think everyone, even if you're not thinking about joining us in the Client Attraction Business School, if you have not watched the success panel, watch it so that you can get inspired, right? Let yourself be inspired to, like Catherine said, to believe that there is a bigger future for you, because there is. It's planted in you, right? In the same way that it's planted in the DNA of this acorn, it is planted in you, right? The universe does not choose one over another. Just as the seed is planted in me, it is planted in you as well. What else?
I think it's interesting. Somebody did post something about the fact that, they just had an epiphany. University business schools are set up to train students to work for mega corporations.
Yes.
Not to
Okay,
become
let me just say,
entrepreneurs.
let me just say, so one of you had an epiphany that universities, traditional universities and business schools are there to train people how to be in corporate and work for the man, right?
And even those schools that have entrepreneurial programs are sometimes a joke compared to what you have gone over the past 2 hours.
And even schools that are, I'm just repeating what Derek just said that you wrote, even schools that are meant for entrepreneurs, she said or he said, are a joke compared to what I've just described over the last 2 hours. So thank you, that means a lot to me. One of my clients, Dr. Elvira, said, with tears in her eyes, she said, Fabienne, you are changing the way that business schools are going to be going forward in the future. And it is my intention that the Client Attraction Business School, because it is a global, and because it is created with integrity, not for what we want, but what's going to get you the most results, will change the face of entrepreneurship in this world. Here's what I believe. There is no reason in the world that you should not have all of the clients and make all of the money that you want to make. It's easy. You heard Catherine say, it's easy. I give you the playbook. I show you exactly. I give you the mentoring, the best practices. We continually innovate, give you the resources, the accountability, everything that you need, and we're always improving. So you're in the right place. So anything else, Derek, or should I wrap up?
No, people want me to say hi.
Oh, come here, everybody. This is Derek Fredrickson. Oh, yeah, I'm going to scooch over. What are you doing?
I'm trying to sit.
Are we positioned correctly, Joe? Okay.
Move in a little bit.
Me? Move in like this?
That's good.
What are you going to say to them?
Hi, everybody.
What do you want to say to them about the Client Attraction Business School before we close up?
Well, I think it's just been fantastic. We've had a ton of people, like almost 500 people at one point that were on with us, which is really, really great.
That's great.
And I think people are really interested and excited about the idea of a business school and the idea of taking business coaching and curriculum and combining it together. It's unlike anything else that's out there. So I think the fact that, having a business school and treating your business like a business and stepping up to invest in it, if you choose to work with us now or when the time is right, I think is really exciting. And the engagement and the excitement from everybody that's on the chat has been really fantastic. A lot of our clients are there, Carrie Connick,
Hi, Carrie.
Donna Cravata.
Hi, Donna.
Some new students that have already joined us, so we're really excited to get everybody on board.
Yeah, so hey, I just want to say thank you so very much for spending the last 2 hours with me. It has been a great privilege. My intention, we did a team huddle in the hallway right there, right before coming on, and I said, you know, everybody had one word of intention for what was going to happen these last 2 hours. And for the thing that I shared with them is, this is not about us. It's never been about us. It's not about us. It never will be about us. It's about you. And it's about you taking your message and monetizing it. And it's about you being a ripple effect in the lives of the people that you are here to be of service to. And it's about you being handsomely rewarded and feeling like you have this community of people who believe in you, who champion you, and who continually give you what you need so that you can keep growing. And we are those people. We believe in you. We love you. I know it may sound crazy to you if you're just meeting us, but you'll find out in the Client Attraction Business School, there's a lot of love, like a lot of support, a lot of championing. So on that note, we believe in you, and you know, if this makes sense, please enroll, please join us. Your life will never be the same.
Good job.
Good job. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Mwah. Bye. All right, you want to turn off my mic? Bye, everybody.